Yo, what's up guys? So today we're going to be going over the Magneto bamboo mini cruiser, which is probably the most popular cruiser on Amazon right now. And honestly, it feels like they came out of nowhere. So I wanted to see if these boards were worth the hype. I asked you guys what you wanted me to test about this board, but I also read through an insane amount of Amazon reviews just to get a feel of how their customers felt. So it's kind of weird because on the product listing, it says that the length of it is 27.5 inches, but I doubled and triple checked and it's actually 28 inches, which is not a big difference, but I'm not quite sure how they got this wrong. At its widest point, it's right around 8 inches, which they say is 7.5 inches, but again, it's really about right. The one thing that I really don't like about the shape of this board is that it starts to get thinner as you get closer to the kicktail. So at the end, it's right around 5.5 to 6 inches wide, which just doesn't feel right in my opinion. Aesthetically, sure, it looks cool, but from a functionality standpoint, I think that's this board's biggest flaw. I also weighed it and it's right around 5.5 pounds, which if you compare it to the Lanyard's Dinghy, it's very similar. Now for the components of this board, you can see that it has a kicktail with a subtle nose. So if you want to do some tricks, you can. Obviously, it's not going to be as good as a traditional skateboard. It has a slight concave, which I always like, but it does come down to your personal preference. The one thing that is a little weird is how aggressive the spray on grip is. It's not a big deal. Some of you might actually like it for that extra grip, but if you're gonna be carrying it around a lot, like under your arm, it could get irritating. The Lanyard's Dinghy grip tape is just much more low-key than this, and I honestly like that better. The deck is made of 5 maple layers sandwiched between 2 bamboo layers. I just think that the overall look of the bamboo is awesome. The next thing that I checked out were the bearings, which are Magneto ABEC 5s. It's kind of crazy after skating for over 20 years now that I never learned much about the difference of ABEC ratings, but after doing more and more research on it, I'm just kind of glad that I never looked into it, because at the end of the day, there's really not much of a difference, especially since most of you guys watching this, I would assume are like me and are more into cruising. I honestly have a feeling that a lot of the bad reviews on their bearings are just left by people that hand spin them out of the box and automatically assume that, yo, they're trash. If you are going to be using this more long term, then I would probably just swap out these ones with Bones Reds. You do have the ability to pop off the caps and maintain them if you want, which is nice. Moving on, the hardware is pretty standard with nylock nuts, which is just a fancy way of saying they have plastic inside the nut, which prevents them from loosening over time. Now for the trucks and bushings, starting with the trucks, which are 7.5 inches from axle to axle. I'm gonna compare these to the bare trucks that came on my Lanyard's Dinghy. On the Magneto, there are quite a few imperfections compared to the bare trucks. Now, I don't think this is a big deal, but it does go to show the quality control difference. You can see that the geometry of the bare trucks is just more intricate. I'm honestly curious if anyone knows the major differences between these trucks and bare trucks. I would want to say that it comes down to the geometry and the overall weight of it. But then again, I'm not a truck expert. I know there are many more people out there that just know more about trucks than I do. So again, let me know in the comments below if that's you. The bushings on the Magneto, according to their website, are medium stiffness, which sounds about right. Compared to the Dinghy bushings, they're very similar. The final component of this board are the wheels, which according to their website are 60 millimeter 78A. I have a few things that kind of throws me off about these wheels. Comparing it to the Dinghy, their wheels are 60 millimeter and they're noticeably smaller. Another thing that I noticed while riding the Magneto was the wheels felt much softer than the Dinghy, and they're both supposed to be 78A, so I don't know if it's just a different mix that they're using, but I want to point that out because I had a few of my other friends ride the Dinghy and then ride the Magneto, and they also felt that difference. Another top Amazon review that I came across was that this person got wheel bite and absolutely ate it, which That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to cruise, we're trying to chill, we're trying to vibe, and getting wheel bite is just, it's an easy way to end your career. So again, you know, I had to test this, and I loosened the trucks as much as possible without the nuts like falling off or anything like that. I turned super aggressively and I did get wheel bite. Just keep in mind that I was like searching to get wheel bite here. I think any board, when you loosen the truck enough, you can get wheel bite. Personally, if I had to choose between the two, I would without a doubt spend that extra money and get the Dinghy. I just think that the shape, bearings, truck, just overall quality of the Dinghy is far superior. But then again, if you can only spend $75 to $100 on a cruiser, it's not terrible. Like, I was expecting this thing to be a lot worse for an Amazon board. I love the overall aesthetic of the Bamboo, including the clear grip tape, even though it's a little too aggressive. But the major downside of this board, in my opinion, is the overall shape of it. I think it's just too thin unless you're getting it for a younger kid. So I think that's everything. I hope you found this video helpful. Like always, drop a comment if you have any questions at all. Otherwise, I'll see you in another video later.